Shout out to Derek Falcon. First of all, shout out to Wifey. We're gonna check my YouTube for the full video on this. But listen, my man Derek Falcon, he said, Joe, the first million is impossible, right? Let me pull up. But the second million is inevitable. That line, that bar hit me so hard because I said, Joe, I don't got $1 million. But I truly believe that, right? The first million is impossible, but the second million is inevitable. And my true hustlers know, right? My true go-getters, my true entrepreneurs, my true get money kings know what time it is, man. And that's all I have to say. That's how I'm rocking. That's the type of time that I'm on. 1 million. And that's the start. That's not even the finish line, beloved. I got mouths to feed, beloved. I'm not one of those fathers that just like, I talk that talk and I walk that walk, subhanAllah. My assets, my beneficiaries, my custodials, listen, man, we line those things up from front to back. And we set up those succession plays, right? Because that's what it's about, man. You know, my fault, my wife could cook. But with me, I always sit back. So, let me say this. Prior to me starting a family, right, of my own, you know, I kept $1 or two. I'm from Queens. We get money. That's what it is, right? So, with that being said, I always kept $1 or two, or a stack or two, right? If you're really talking, right? If we really took now. But with that being said, I always kept some bread and I always kept enough to cover me, right? And once that number got to a certain place where I was able to cover Jaquan, Sherwin, Lucian, Bailey, and I knew that he was good, you know, I felt myself getting comfortable. I felt myself getting sloppy even on certain occasions, right? Certain nights, right? And this is why Islam is so important to me, because I realized the more comfortable I got, the more sloppy I got, the more I'm in the hood with a kufi on, drinking. The more I'm going to Juma, focus for a week or two, in school, banging out. Once the semester is over, once midterms is up, once finals is up, I'm back smoking. Like, that's how we celebrate. Nah, beloved, celebrate the proper way. Celebrate the boss way. Celebrate the elegant way, right? And a lot of this celebrating comes from your environment, right? And more so just leveling up. Excuse me. More so just leveling up. Now that I say all that to say, now fast forward to today, I realize, yes, I was ahead of my time with the way that I was moving, but beloved, that was light work. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? That was lightweight, featherweight, you're not cruiserweight. Like now, you know what I mean? We stepping into the middleweight rankings. And now we move completely different. Now the goals, the ambition, the drive, the determination, the grit is completely different, beloved. I do not play when it comes to getting busy, when it comes to standing on business, right? Some people talk it, whereas others live it. Beloved, it's 6 of us. It's 6 of us, beloved. So therefore, I have to put my best foot forward every time, right? I have to move accordingly, strategically, in a calculated manner every single day, every single step. And I don't always get those steps right. Sometimes I fall short. You know what I mean? Sometimes yo, Jay, damn, what was that? Come on, you should have. But again, I keep my intentions pure and I press my head to that floor. Because my goal, my new objective My new um admiration even admirations even is to impress my kids. Is to make sure that they're good when I'm not here. Great, right? Talking about going from good to great to excellent. That's how we on it. That's how I think. That's how I move. Whether you see me with a doobie and a sweatsuit, or whether you see me in a business suit, you heard? Tailored. That's how I move mentally. Because mentally, beloved, I'm always sharp for the most part. Alhamdulillah. Mentally, beloved, I'll be able to tell you about the Strait of Hormuz and how Iran is basically saying, yo, listen, man, the Strait of Hormuz is back open, but we only accepting yuan, and that's the Chinese currency, right? That's the China currency. So thus, I just strive to stay razor blade sharp, beloved, because again, I'm having $1 million conversations. I'm getting busy on a day by day basis, and I see things differently. I know I'm wired differently. I don't think like the average person. And that's why I'm even having a hard time with returning to work. Like, inshallah, I'll return to work and I'll get busy, and I'll be an asset to whatever company that I reside in. But my confidence is growing at an expeditious rate, beloved, right? And thus, I'm just seeing where I went wrong in life, where I could go right in life. The king that I've grown into, alhamdulillah, I analyze it all, beloved. The people that are not around, but are still around. My kids and their growth, their trajectory, right? How I don't respond, how negative energy, how lower frequencies. Nah, it don't even. Come on, beloved. It's been years since I blew my cool. A few years now. And with that being said, I just strive to remain intact. I strive to always keep the bigger goal in mind. Always keep my family in mind. Always keep Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in mind, because that's how I got here. That's truly how I got here, beloved. I'm just freestyling. I'm not even gonna hold you. This is not even scripted. You know what I mean? Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, man. The brother made history. That young brother just did something that's considered astronomical. And granted, you could insert the politics and say, damn, white versus black, we don't get accepted. We just that and the third. But beloved, he kicked that door down. He kicked that door down. The first of his generation. You gotta put respect on that. Then went the In-N-Out burger after. Gangster. Gangster. Nah, I'm not partying with the like, I'm outside, beloved. I'm outside. Gotta respect that. And I respect it because I consider myself just as tall as Michael B. Jordan. I consider myself of the same caliber, of the same cloth, right? Of that same charismatic trait as Michael B. Jordan. And with that being said, we salute, we send unlimited blessings, right? To Michael B. Jordan and anybody out there moving on that type of time, beloved, because black excellence can be normal, right? Black excellence is what we know our ancestors wanted for us from back then, which is why they used to put the different designs and the braids and all that so that you could get through those certain fields and slave houses and this, that, and the third to make it to that finish line, beloved. Again, everything that we do is intentional, beloved. Yo, word to mother, it's so much stuff sometimes I want to say, so many different bags I want to get to, but at the end of it all, I love how humble I keep it. I love excuse me, how patient I remain. I love how I just sit back. And that's probably something I got from my father, to be frank with you. I love how I'm just able to sit back, stay in the pocket, and wait my turn. Right? I have my own chessboard out in front of me, and I'm moving my own pieces, beloved. And I don't plan on having a checkmate occur from any opponent on the opposing side. Love yourself. Love your family. Keep your intentions pure. Fellas, if your wife get out of pocket, she start doing this, just strive to remain as cool as possible. Mufti Mink, he taught me something one time. He said, Joe, when your wife is upset, probably don't do it in the heat of the moment. Everybody, you gauge it differently, but just give her a hug. And it took me some time to even get to that point. It took me some time to even be able to do that. Even now, like word the mother, sometimes I'd rather bite a bullet before I even, but oftentimes a hug in the heat of the moment while you're infuriated, while she's irate, it'll move mountains. Let me just say that. And it shows growth on your behalf. It shows how, yo, I'm ready to step into manhood. This is what being a leader is about. This is what being the boss is about. This is what being a real ninja is about, right? This is how we keep it sturdy, by remaining respectful. And we're not always going to get it right. But when we do, beloved, we stand tall. When we don't, beloved, we stand up and remain taller. Because life is what you make it. And while you're here on this planet of this dunya, enjoy it as best as possible. But no, we all got to go one day. Every soul tastes death. That's all I got for now. I got to spend time with the family.